Imagine waking up. You're dazed. You've got no memory of the last 2 days, none at all. Only you find yourself possessing this impossible strength. And there's a trail of just unimaginable horror in your wake. A quiet, unassuming life just ripped apart by something, well, something utterly alien. That's the chilling mystery we're plunging into today. Welcome to the Uncanny Valley Podcast. This is where we explore the strange, the unsettling, and, yeah, the deeply hidden truths that lurk just beneath the surface of, well, everything. Our mission here is really to act as your guides. We sift through some pretty complex source material, pull out the critical insights, the surprising facts, and, you know, those real gut punch aha moments. Hopefully we leave you feeling well-informed, but maybe, just maybe a little more unsettled by the world around you. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding the shadows. So today we're taking a really close look at this truly disturbing narrative. It originates from a scenario detailing a small Tennessee town called Groversville. It's a place where the everyday, the mundane just collides violently with alien incursions and secret government operations.
Yeah, really heavy stuff. We're going to unpack the intricate layers of this story, reveal the true nature of the horror that started it all, and we'll explore not just what happened, but what it means for our understanding of reality, of agency, even our own bodies. Okay, let's unpack this. A seemingly quiet town, a vanished teenager, and the terrifying truth just simmering beneath the surface. Our journey begins in September 1996 in Groversville, Tennessee. Just picture this. A small agricultural county seat, kind of tucked away, population about, what, 1,200 people?
Pretty small,
Yeah.
right.
You might expect a sleepy, unremarkable place, but Groversville actually boasts facilities and a certain prosperity that, well, it sort of belies its size.
Because it's the county seat.
Exactly. That and its strategic position on Highway 135 connects it to wider areas. Geographically, it's nestled at the eastern end of these two rows of steep hills. They converge, forming a kind of sideways V shape around the town. And beyond these hills, you've got numerous farms,
Yeah.
big part of its economy.
So on the surface, it presents as just a perfectly normal, if maybe a little isolated American town.
Totally normal.
And that veneer of normalcy, you know, that quiet, isolated setting, that's precisely what makes the horror that much more potent when it hits.
Right.
It's in these kinds of places, you know, far from the scrutiny of major cities, that these insidious incursions, whether they're alien or something else, can really take root and just fester unnoticed. The ordinary becomes the perfect camouflage for the truly extraordinary and horrifying.
Absolutely. And the catalyst, the thing that kicks this whole thing off, is the case of 18-year-old Billy Ray Spivey. 11 days before our investigators even set foot in Groversville, Billy Ray vanishes.
Just disappears.
Yeah. He'd been visiting his girlfriend, Jane Allen, and just didn't come home for 2 whole days.
Wow.
And when he finally returns, he's dazed, disoriented, have absolutely no memory of where he'd been or what happened during that lost time.
A classic missing time scenario.
Exactly. The kind of inexplicable disappearance that leaves families just bewildered, right? But it quickly takes a far darker, much more grotesque turn.
Indeed. Upon his return, the physical manifestations of whatever he experienced become horrifyingly apparent. He's gravely ill, suffering from this inexplicable, agonizing pain, which, you know, we later understand to be the MIGO painkillers wearing off.
Oh, okay.
His appetite becomes remarkable, almost insatiable. But, and this is profoundly disturbing, he has no bowel movements, no urination.
None at all. None. These are clear, visceral signs of a profound and unnatural physiological alteration. His body just isn't functioning as it should, or maybe as it was. And just imagine the terror of his parents, right? Watching their son suffer, completely unaware of the monstrous alien changes happening inside him. Completely. 7 days after he returns, the situation escalates into just unspeakable tragedy and a fit of unbearable pain, and we can only assume just utter confusion and lack of control over his own mutated body. Billy Ray accidentally punches his fist straight through his father's chest, kills him instantly.
Oh, my God.
His right arm, the very instrument of this horror, is bloody to the elbow. Distraught, terrified, utterly bewildered by his own newfound monstrous strength, Spivey flees Groversville, leaves behind a scene of just unimaginable grief and violence.
And this is where the incident stops being just a local mystery, right? It
Yeah.
morphs into this multi-state crime spree. Spivey, desperate for any relief from that unimaginable alien-induced pain, starts robbing gas stations, drugstores across Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. He's not after glory or power or anything like that. He's just trying to fuel his escape and ease his suffering with painkillers and money.
It's just tragic.
It's a tragic chase, yeah, driven by forces just way beyond his comprehension.
And the surveillance video from one of these robberies,
Yeah.
it's truly shocking. A scene of just raw, brutal power, that defies human comprehension. Investigative agents are shown this footage of Spivey. He's agitated, clearly in agony, as he approaches a cashier. He lashes out, strikes the cashier with his fist.
And then the force.
The force is so immense, so utterly unnatural that the cashier's skull just collapses. His head is literally torn clean off his shoulders.
Jesus.
The headless body staggers for a horrifying moment, blood gushing from the neck before collapsing. Spivey, kind of in a daze, takes the money, pill bottles, flees again. The sheer brutal violence of that act, the effortless, casual destruction. The source notes it costs an agent one's sanity just from witnessing it.
I can believe it.
It's a stark reminder of that fragile line between human and, well, monster.
Yeah, the human mind, especially one conditioned to the predictable limits of the human body, it really struggles to process such an extreme violation of physical norms. This is a level of strength that just borders on the impossible.
Like something out of a comic book, but horrific.
Exactly. After bending a state trooper's riot gun in half...
Bending it.
Yes, bending it in half, Spivey is finally subdued. But it takes 4 bullets to bring him down, and each shot barely seems to slow him. The subsequent examination reveals the chilling, undeniable truth. His muscle tissue, particularly in his arms and legs, is profoundly not human.
Wow.
It's a complete biological anomaly, an alien augmentation.
Okay, so this is where Delta Green gets involved.
Oh.
You know, the shadowy organization dedicated to fighting these unknown horrors that mainstream agencies can't handle and the public must never know about.
Right.
FBI agent James Derringer, he's a career FBI guy, but also happens to be a Delta Green friendly, meaning he's aware of them, works with them when things get weird like this. He recognizes Spivey's improvements as something far beyond the normal chain of command. Derringer, having had his first taste of Delta Green ops as a Marine in Vietnam, understands some things are best handled quietly.
Off the books.
Way off the books. By this group, away from official channels and the public eye.
So Derringer briefs the agents on Spivey's incredible yet horrific transformation. They learn about the non-human characteristics of this new muscle tissue in his arms and legs. It's like an alien grafting. It grants him this tremendous, almost superhuman strength. He could theoretically pick up a car and astonishing feat.
Right.
But there's a critical limitation. His own original human skeleton isn't reinforced, so his bones would just shatter before he could hold it for long.
No, the frame can't handle the engine.
Exactly. What's also deeply unsettling is the discovery of extensive invisible scars all over his arms and legs. They indicate prior complex surgery that has been seamlessly closed with this same non-human material. It's an almost perfect yet horrifying biological integration.
So the agents are dispatched to Groversville. They're armed with this carefully constructed cover story, investigating fictitious drug dealers supposedly connected to Spivey.
Plausible deniability.
Right. This narrative allows them to move through the town, question people, probe around, all while searching for clues about what's truly happening. Their mission: uncover the source of this grotesque biological alteration. Find out who or what did this to Billy Ray.
And what's fascinating here is how this seemingly isolated incident, a teenager's violent outburst, quickly unravels into something far more intricate and disturbing than just a crime.
Yeah.
It hints at this hidden, systemic world beneath the surface of everyday life. This isn't just a crime spree, it's a symptom, a visible eruption of a much larger, more alien presence, a carefully planned biological and social manipulation project that has been quietly unfolding in this unassuming town. The individual tragedy is merely a thread in a much larger, much more insidious tapestry.
And speaking of that large alien presence, let's pull back the curtain on the true masterminds behind Groversville's escalating nightmare. The MiGo.
The MiGo. Okay, these are described as an utterly alien life form. Chillingly, the sources call them brain-sucking fungi from the distant planet Yuggoth.
Fungi from Yuggoth. Okay.
Yeah, and they are engaged in this secret, extensive program of study and experimentation right here on American citizens. What's crucial to understand about their method of operation is their sophisticated deception. They largely masquerade as the infamous Greys.
Ah, the classic image.
Exactly. You know the type: thin, short humanoids, large black eyes, hairless skin, the archetypal alien abductors from pop culture. But these Greys are actually biological automatons, mere puppets psychically controlled by the MiGo themselves.
So the Greys are just drones.
Essentially, yeah. They are a manufactured front, a biological disguise for the real entities behind the curtain.
So all those classic UFO phenomena we hear about Cattle mutilations, human abductions, those bizarre, often deeply unsettling activities attributed to Greys in countless conspiracy theories.
That's the Mago.
The source material reveals these are actually the Magos doing. They're not just observing. They're actively engaged in this long-term, invasive research project, using these manufactured puppets to conduct their grotesque science.
It's a far more calculated and insidious form of invasion than just, landing a big ship on the White House lawn.
Much quieter, more terrifying.
And their technology is truly formidable, deeply unsettling, born of an understanding of physics far beyond our own. The Magos are advanced tool users. They wield electric guns described as long wand-like objects made of a non-reflective black metal alien in its very composition.
Electric guns.
And their mode of travel, what they call etheric flight, allows them to fly in any environment, underwater, in space, through the air at great speeds. They can hover, even walk up walls like giant ethereal insects.
Walking up walls.
Yeah, it just defies our understanding of aerodynamics and gravity.
And here's where it gets even stranger, really bending the fabric of our known reality.
Yeah.
They are macro-dimensional. What does that even mean?
It means they exist in a multitude of dimensions, only a fraction of which are visible to us in our normal space-time. They sometimes appear to sort of stutter in and out of our reality from second to second.
Like a bad video connection?
Kind of, but more fundamental. It makes them incredibly unpredictable and difficult to attack. Think of it like trying to fight a ghost that can step sideways out of your perception. Not just disappear, but literally exist in space you can't access, even while standing right next to you. It's a terrifying advantage.
Wow.
Precisely. And when they do try to communicate, their voice is this buzzing imitation of human speech, often garbled, unsettling, but their grasp of human anthropology and their understanding of causality in our four-dimensional space-time is profoundly limited. This often leads to incredibly confusing and disorienting exchanges.
They just don't get us.
Not really. The complexity of their biology, their multidimensional existence, it highlights how truly alien they are. They don't just exist outside our understanding, they operate on entirely different physical principles. Their attempts at communication often reveal a horrifying disconnect from human experience.
Now, at the heart of their manipulation, the key to their grotesque biological engineering, lies this substance called protomatter.
Protomatter, right. This is a MyGo-developed substance that is genetically and physiologically polymorphic at the cellular level.
Polymorphic.
Meaning it's incredibly versatile, a biological chameleon. It can mimic any terrestrial organic substance with ease and even improve upon it. For instance, protomatter muscle tissue can be far stronger and more efficient than normal human muscle tissue, as we saw with Billy Ray Spivey.
So it's like programmable flesh.
Kind of. Think of it as organic, silly putty, but infinitely more sophisticated. Able to shape-shift its cellular structure to mimic and enhance virtually any living tissue.
But it's not without its drawbacks, right?
Yeah.
Especially when implanted into humans.
Absolutely not. The source tells us that implantation is risky, often leading to severe tissue rejection and profound psychological repercussions.
Which explains Billy Ray Spivey's agonizing pain.
Exactly. His pain, his uncontrollable strength, and his rapid descent into violence and despair. It's a miracle of alien science, maybe, but it's a curse for any human recipient.
Okay. Over the past 4 months, Groversville itself has been the unwitting focus of a dedicated MyGo research project. A living laboratory.
A living laboratory. It began with cattle. MyGo organs grown in tubes were inserted into livestock, with protomatter acting as the bonding agent to ensure the bovine tissue accepted the alien material.
Oh, God.
Some cows were vivisected or operated on, yet incredibly still lived. Their udders removed, the wounds seamlessly sealed by protomatter. This demonstrates a chilling disregard for life and an advanced yet monstrous understanding of biological engineering. The animals became living proof of protomatter's capabilities and its horrors.
Then, after about 10 weeks of these cattle experiments, they moved on to humans.
They escalated their operations to humans, yes.
Right.
These abductees would have their memories blocked, then be returned to their daily routines for observation. Residents of Groversville began to experience unexplainable missing time, ranging from hours to even days, a direct result of these ongoing invasive experiments.
The population was unknowingly being harvested for data, just used. Here's where it gets really interesting, where the scope of the horror truly snaps into focus. Because it's not just about one unfortunate teenager, Billy Ray Spivey, or a few cattle.
No.
This entire town is unknowingly ground zero for something truly insidious. A silent invasion orchestrated with unsettling precision, turning its inhabitants into unwitting subjects, their very bodies and minds compromised.
And this substance, protomatter, it fundamentally redefines what we understand about biological limits, about organic structures. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it shows an alien intelligence not merely observing, but actively redesigning life on a cellular level, transforming an entire town into a living petri dish for their arcane, incomprehensible science. It's a chilling demonstration of power over the very essence of life, turning autonomy into a laboratory experiment.
And the MIGO's control over Groversville runs even deeper, extending to the very minds of its inhabitants. It's a level of manipulation that's almost unfathomable. But what does this pervasive, invisible mind control truly mean for a community? How does it erode the very foundation of trust, self-determination, and even reality itself?
That's precisely where the horror deepens. The town's reservoir, the very source of its drinking water, has been tainted with a unique form of protomatter.
The water supply.
The water supply. This substance enables the MIGO to establish psychic bonds with anyone who consumes it. The entire population of Groversville has now consumed this altered water, leading to small but significant alterations in their brain tissue. Consider the profound implications. Every thought, every whispered conversation, every private moment is potentially an open book to these beings.
Oh, man.
It's not just physical invasion, it's a complete hijacking of cognitive autonomy, turning every resident into a potential unwitting spy or puppet.
So the MIGO can essentially tap into the town's collective consciousness. That's terrifyingly efficient. Are there limits? Is it constant?
Exactly, but with a critical caveat. They can see through the residents' eyes, hear through their ears, and even fully control their actions on a one-to-one basis. But this is only within an 8-kilometer range of their central node, their base we'll talk about later. It's not a constant, overwhelming stream of every single thought. It's more like a pervasive, invisible form of mind control that's primarily for security. Rarely used for direct control, but constantly available to monitor key figures like the sheriff or anyone who might pose a threat.
Like a network, always on, always ready.
Always ready to exert influence, yeah.
But the most disturbing example of this psychic control and protomatter manipulation involves the town's actual leadership, the Groversville Board of Aldermen.
Oh, this is something else. The source material reveals that the Groversville Board of Aldermen has been merged by the MIGO into a single protomatter-bound being.
Merged, like physically
merged. This autonomous monitor constantly inhabits the town hall 24 hours a day, effectively becoming the town's central nervous system for the MIGO. This entity monitors and controls other important townspeople, telephone operators, the sheriff's department, ensuring the MIGO's operations remain secret and unhindered.
It's a direct, literal corruption of civic leadership. A living alien brain controlling the town's vital functions from within the town hall.
Exactly.
And the families and friends of these aldermen, how do they react to their loved ones being perpetually at work, never coming home?
This is where the protomatter's influence on human minds becomes truly chilling. Thanks to the protomatter and their own brains, the families and friends of the aldermen blissfully accept their loved one's constant absence.
They just accept it.
They'll casually say things like, "Oh, he's at work," completely unaware of the horrifying truth. Their minds are subtly rewired to not question the anomaly. This ignorance is reinforced by a subconscious instruction embedded within their minds, a kind of mental mantra: work, work, work.
Work, work, work.
Compelling them not to see anything strange, to dismiss any lingering doubts. It's a perfect, tragic, psychological prison built right into their own perception.
But what happens if someone were to force their way into the alderman's boardroom, past all those layers of psychic manipulation and enforce normalcy?
If agents were to force their way in, they would discover a truly horrific sight, a profound violation of natural order. The boardroom would be chaos books, papers scattered, furniture overturned, windows covered, and occupying about half the floor, a viscous mass of protomatter, a pulsating, loathsome goo.
Oh, God.
Within this mass are the absorbed bodies of the aldermen. Their faces play across its surface at different sizes, all speaking at once, their individual personalities subsumed into this horrifying, alien collective. The sight alone. The sources say it causes 11d8 sanity loss from the sheer unnaturalness of it. A living, speaker, organic computer made of human flesh and alien material.
So the townspeople, under this influence, they see this thing as their normal leaders. They just accept it.
Yes. Incredibly. Under the MIGO's pervasive control, the townsfolk react to this loathsome, pulsating mass as if they were simply seeing their old town leaders out for a stroll.
That's insane.
The altered perception prevents them from seeing the monstrosity for what it is, and if a solo meeting is required, an individual alderman can bud out from the main body, like a grotesque appendage of the collective, but only one at a time, to avoid compromising the psychic hold over the town. This raises an important question. What does it mean for a community when its very leadership and collective consciousness are physically and psychically subsumed by an alien entity?
Yeah.
The social fabric itself becomes a tool for insidious control, and the concept of individual autonomy is utterly annihilated, replaced by a single alien-driven will.
As if alien experimentation and psychic control weren't enough, we now get into the official cover-up, revealing that our own government isn't just aware of these horrors, but actively complicit.
Yeah, this layer is deeply disturbing.
It's a chilling realization that the very institutions meant to protect us are, in fact, enabling the invasion.
This is where Project Majestic, or Majestic 12, enters the picture. It's a U.S. government secret agency, right? An organization ostensibly dedicated to understanding and containing extraterrestrial threats. Supposedly. However, alarmingly, it's openly collaborating with the MIGO, whom they know primarily as the Greys, in their experiments. This isn't a rogue faction. This is sanctioned, top-secret collaboration. A Faustian bargain for alien technology and knowledge, even at the cost of human lives. It's policy.
A deal with the devil or the fungi. And Majestic has its own shadowy wetworks team, NRO Section Delta, which is on the ground in Groversville, actively facilitating this collaboration.
That's right. Project Garnet agents from NRO Section Delta are actively assisting the Greys in disguising the abductions and other phenomena. The source emphasizes that this Groversville operation is the largest and longest one undertaken by the Greys to date, at least as far as Majestic is aware.
So they're heavily invested.
Extremely. So NRO Delta has gone to extreme, brutal lengths to protect it, to ensure its secrecy and continued operation.
They employ what the source calls sledgehammer tactics to ensure no one believes anything truly strange is happening in Groversville. It's a campaign not just of secrecy, but of engineered disbelief.
Their disinformation campaign is multi-pronged and ruthlessly effective, designed to make Groversville's strange occurrences a complete laughingstock. First, 8 operatives pose as residents. They call regional media outlets with just ludicrous stories and moronic complaints like Elvis sightings, fantastical monster reports, just nonsense.
It's to muddy the waters.
Exactly. Quickly turning Groversville into the butt of newsroom jokes across the region. It's a deliberate strategy to saturate the media with absurdity so anything real gets lost in the noise.
And they don't just rely on making up stories. They actively control the flow of information, creating this feedback loop of ridicule.
Precisely. NRO Delta has tapped into the town's entire telephone network. Any calls from Groversville residents to most regional or national media outlets are intercepted. Rerouted directly to NRO Delta agents. These agents then pretend to be the desired media outlet only to ridicule and insult the caller for wasting their time with such obviously fake stories. Imagine trying to report something truly horrifying, something that defies explanation, only to be met with derision and disbelief from what you think are legitimate journalists.
That's psychological warfare.
It's a psychological weapon, yeah. Silencing the truth with scorn.
It's a brilliant, cruel tactic, turning the victims into objects of mockery. But they also leverage existing media, twisting legitimate platforms for their own ends.
Yes, they've leaked misinformation to the producers of this sleazy paranormal television news show, Phenomenon X.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah. This show, already prone to sensationalism, is then used to produce a wildly exaggerated story about Groversville's UFO activity. This, ironically, serves to discredit any genuine phenomena even further. By associating the town with sensationalist, often fabricated, entertainment, they ensure that real reports are dismissed as mere fantasy, part of the Groversville circus.
And for good measure, they even create fake evidence, polluting the very wellspring of UFO investigation.
Indeed. NRO Delta has whipped together a number of obviously faked videotapes and photographs supposedly depicting UFO sightings in Groversville. These fakes are then sent to prominent UFO study groups across the country. The fakes are, of course, easily debunked, meticulously picked apart by well-meaning but ultimately manipulated researchers.
So the real groups won't touch it.
Exactly. This ensures that no legitimate UFO research group will dare to touch the mess in Groversville, lest their own reputations suffer from association with such obvious frauds.
The result of all this is a town where the truth is utterly buried under a mountain of ridicule, where genuine terror is transformed into a punchline.
Absolutely. Groversville's UFO mania becomes the subject of talk show monologues, nightclub comedy routines, condescending national news broadcasts. The source summarizes it perfectly. Everyone's heard of the Groversville story, and no one believes a word of it. It's a total information shutdown, a perfect zone of plausible deniability, allowing the MIGO's horrific experiments and Majestic's complicity to continue unhindered, all while the public laughs at the very idea of it. It's a terrifying testament to the power of manufactured truth.
So what does this all mean? We have utterly alien entities literally taking over a town, experimenting on its population.
Yeah.
And our own government is not only complicit, but actively working to make sure no one takes it seriously.
Oh, it's staggering.
It's a conspiracy wrapped in a farce, where the very act of seeking truth is turned into a punchline, and the government becomes an active agent of engineered ignorance. The implications for public trust, for the very concept of informed consent, they're absolutely devastating.
Okay, so with the stage set, the chilling layers of alien manipulation and government deception revealed, let's dive into what happens when our agents actually arrive at Ground Zero, Groversville, when they begin to unravel this terrifying conspiracy firsthand. Right. Upon arrival, the agents operate under their established cover story, investigating fictitious drug dealers connected to Billy Ray Spivey. It's a convenient narrative, lets them ask questions without immediately raising alarm about the real nature of their inquiry. Even though there's no real drug activity to speak of in Grover County.
It's a thin veil of normalcy over a simmering abyss.
Pretty much.
The local law enforcement, however, presents an immediate point of interest and a deeply unsettling one.
I do. Sheriff Dan Oakley, described as having a blustery personality and being a professionally progressive law enforcement officer, he expects the agents. He's skeptical of the drug story, confirms there's little local drug activity, but he offers full cooperation.
Okay, seems helpful.
But what he, and crucially the agents, don't know is that he and his 17 deputies are all subtly infused with protomatter.
All of them.
All of them. This makes them physically stronger and tougher than they appear, and critically, they serve as unwitting eyes, ears, and potential force for the MIGO at any moment. They're unaware of their own biological compromise.
So the very people meant to uphold the law are unknowingly tools of the invasion.
Exactly. Compromised from the start.
So even the local law is compromised, a silent army ready to be activated. And where do our agents stay in this compromised town, where every local face could be a puppet?
Merle's Shut-Eye Motel. It's the only game in town, and it's owned by Merle Barn.
Wait, Merle Barn, head of the Board of Aldermen?
The richest man in Groversville, and yes, head of the Board of Aldermen, the fused protomatter-bound entity we discussed earlier.
Oh, that's cozy.
Isn't it? Intriguingly, 2 rooms at this very motel hold persons of significant interest to the investigation, making it this accidental nexus of crucial clues.
One of the first people the agents would likely speak with is Angel Spivey, Billy Ray's distraught mother, a woman grappling with just an unimaginable personal tragedy.
Angel is living with her sister and brother-in-law after burying her husband, whom Billy Ray tragically killed. She's described as a strong woman, but utterly broken by the events. She can confirm Billy Ray's disappearance, the 2 days of missing time after visiting Jane Allen, his subsequent pain, and his eventual violence.
But she denies the drugs.
Crucially, yes. She adamantly denies any drug involvement, which is, of course, the truth. Her account provides a vital timeline of his initial return and the onset of his horrific, alien-induced symptoms. She's a victim, unknowingly providing key pieces to the puzzle.
And Billy Ray's friends offer a similar perspective, adding another layer of confirmation.
They confirm his non-involvement with drugs, and when asked about his potential hangouts during his missing time, they point unequivocally to the reservoir in the hills north of town. They say it's the big teenage hangout spot. Sheriff Oakley and many other townsfolk would corroborate this. It's a detail that initially seems innocuous but will prove profoundly significant.
Which naturally leads the agents to the reservoir itself, the supposed innocent teenage haunt.
If the agents visit the reservoir before they acquire the protomatter detection compound, they find little of interest. Just typical teenage hangout debris, cans, wrappers.
Right.
However, if they have the compound, it's a completely different story. A vibrant, terrifying revelation. Spraying the water turns it the purest, brightest purple they have seen yet. a vivid, undeniable indicator of contamination.
Wow.
Flecks of protomatter are found everywhere, in the air, on the grass, on the pump building. This unequivocally marks it as the primary source of the town's protomatter contamination, the silent, invisible conduit of alien control.
But the discoveries don't stop there. There's another resident at Merle Shut-Eye who holds a gold mine of information, if the agents can find it.
Yeah.
Scott Adams, a man who came looking for answers and found something far, far worse.
Scott Adams is quite the character. He's the editor of Watch the Skies, described as a fanatical UFO nut with a history of trespassing during his investigations, driven by this obsessive pursuit of alien truth. He arrived in Groversville about 2.5 weeks before Billy Ray killed his father. However, Adams isn't just researching, he's been researching.
Oh, no.
The MIGO abducted him, replaced his spinal and cranial fluids with protomatter. This led to profound hypersensitivity and uncontrollable fledgling telekinetic and telepathic abilities. His very mind and body became an alien experiment.
That sounds like a terrifying upgrade. A double-edged sword that granted power but stole his humanity? How did it affect his day-to-day life?
Severely. Daylight, once taken for granted, became far too bright for him to tolerate. Sun and UV radiation felt like a physical sensation, an agonizing burn. He holed up in his motel room, covering the windows, removing light bulbs, effectively living in darkness. A prisoner in his own enhanced senses. Tragically, when he attempted to communicate his condition to the outside world, to warn others, the MIGO, through the protomatter in his system, forced him to commit suicide.
Forced him.
Slit his wrists in his motel room bathtub. His search for truth ended in a manipulated, horrific self-destruction.
And his room itself is a scene of quiet horror, a testament to his final days of torment and desperate pursuit of knowledge.
It is. Entering Adams's room at Merle's Shut-Eye, agents would find it dark, cloaked in desperation with a bad odor. Blankets taped over the windows, light bulbs removed, casting this perpetual gloom. His clothes are scattered, some neatly folded, others tossed aside not from laziness, but because the fabric itself was too scratchy, too agonizing against his hypersensitive, protomatter-altered skin.
Just agonizing to exist.
Right. Junk food containers litter the floor, remnants of a desperate solitary existence. And then the bathtub, dark with blood, holds his body. A tragic end. The most disturbing discovery, though, is this whitish, hairless bulge, about 8 centimeters in diameter, of non-human tissue on the top right of his head.
Okay.
This, along with other protomatter from his body, became a free-moving glob in the tub water, waiting to escape into the water supply via the drain if it was opened. A biological time bomb left behind.
But Adams, in his final tormented days, left behind an invaluable treasure trove of information on his computer. A legacy of horror.
His Macintosh PowerBook contains 3 critical files, each shedding a terrifying light on Groversville. First, the Groversville Notebook, player aid 1 in the scenario. It's a goldmine of his detailed notes, filled with eyewitness accounts of livestock mutilations, not just brutal, but surgically precise, and tales of missing time now denied by locals, clearly under duress or influence.
He documented the cover-up, too.
Crucially, yes. He observed NRO Delta's 2 black helicopters confirming a government presence and even witnessed one mid-air battle with a stray MIGO. He meticulously recorded widespread sightings of pulsing multicolored MIGO lights in the night sky, noted simple crop circles caused by NRO Delta helicopter landings, a military ruse, and tucked away a reference to J.A., Jane Allen, Billy Ray's girlfriend, and a chilling observation about the Groversville aldermen. Allen, Barn, Thomas, Jacobs, Cartwright, and Anderson never go home. Adams noticing their strange, constant presence at town hall. It's all there. The alien activity and the government cover-up painstakingly documented.
But there were other, more unsettling files as well, revealing the profound psychological impact of his protomatter alteration.
The second file is Cess, also a player aid, largely nonsensical, written on the day of his death. It represents his altered thought processes due to the protomatter, a mind unraveling. He speculates on the brain translating information, binary codes in words like choice or reason, consciousness as an omnipresent, open network. It serves to confound, showcasing the profound psychological disassociation and alien influence on his cognition.
Just the protomatter scrambling his thoughts.
Exactly. The third file, Message, is a digitized, reversed, and slowed down sound sample from his car radio. When processed, it reveals this metallic, squawky voice saying, "Dealing with. Garbled has been a long time and we have many things to do and you are not sure what you're doing. Stop now. Stop now."
A direct warning.
A direct, chilling warning. A clear alien imperative for him to cease his investigation, delivered just before his forced suicide.
And finally, a key factor mentioned in Adams's notes, and absolutely critical to the Groversville mystery, intertwined with Billy Ray Spivey's tragedy. Jane Allen.
Jane Allen, Billy Ray Spivey's girlfriend. Her family lives a couple of miles from the Spivey farm, and her father, unsettlingly, is one of the aldermen.
Part of the collective.
Part of the collective. 4 weeks prior, she too was abducted by the MIGO, gone for 8 hours. During this time, they performed a horrifying biological redesign. They replaced her uterus and cervix with protomatter, which now act as accelerators. Although she's only 3 weeks pregnant by Spivey, she is already at the 6-month stage.
6 months and 3 weeks.
Yes. Each passing week advances the infant's development by 2 months. She is due to give birth just 10 days into the scenario, a terrifyingly short and rapid gestation.
A truly horrifying, accelerated pregnancy, the ultimate nightmare of alien experimentation. What does this protomatter spawn mean for her and for the agents?
The fetus is human in appearance, a cruel deception. But it developed in very different amniotic fluids, essentially making it a protomatter spawn with human intelligence and form. Jane Allen herself is, understandably, terrified, a victim trapped in a living incubator for an alien-human hybrid. She requires a tremendous amount of food to sustain this accelerated pregnancy, constantly hungry.
And she's hiding.
Frightened by what was happening to her and what happened to Spivey, she sought refuge with Scott Adams. She's now holed up in another room at Merle's Shut-Eye, a room Adams rented for storage, uses no phone, hasn't left the room. A terrified woman on the verge of giving birth to something unspeakable.
And swirling around all this, adding another layer of bizarre misdirection and, frankly, dark comedy to the horror, is the presence of Phenomenon X, the sleazy paranormal news show.
Producer Frank Carincula, a cynical, bald, thin man in cheap suits, embodies the show's cynical approach. Former journalist turned entertainment provider, he has heard of Majestic 12 as a conspiracy theory but doesn't know its truth, a perfect pawn for NRO Delta.
And he's immune.
What's crucial and darkly ironic is his personal habits. He's a longtime vegan, brings his own expensive bottled water and prepackaged organic meals, never consumes local water, making him uniquely immune to the MIGO's protomatter machinations. An accidental anomaly in a compromised town. NRO Delta uses Phenomenon X for disinformation, knowing their sensationalism will discredit any real reporting. They are staying at Merle's Shut-Eye, initially uninterested in Spivey, but will investigate if UFOs or Spivey's missing time become an FBI focus.
So they could become a nuisance.
They may ambush agents with cameras, eager to report government involvement in UFOs, providing little danger but much interference, further muddling the truth for the public.
It's a complete tapestry of manipulation, isn't it? From the cellular level to the media narrative. The meticulousness of the MIGO's experimentation, coupled with the government's brutal efficiency in discrediting any truth, it creates this perfect storm of unknowing terror. Every layer peeled back reveals another, more profound violation of normalcy and trust. As our investigation into Groversville deepens, the horror takes an even more personal and chilling turn, escalating beyond mere observation to direct, unavoidable consequences for anyone caught in its web. It's one thing to uncover a threat. It's another entirely to realize the very horror you're trying to contain has already breached your own defenses.
This escalation begins with the protomatter detection compound. 3 days into the investigation, a courier delivers this compound, developed by labs analyzing Spivey's altered tissue. Dispensed in spray bottles and, crucially, turns bright, undeniable purple on contact with protomatter. It's a tool of revelation designed to expose the unseen.
And this revelation is, as the source describes, horrible. It makes the invisible visible, the intangible terrifyingly real.
It is. Upon testing, agers make a horrible discovery. Every single person in town has small quantities of protomatter on their skin. The very air they breathe is contaminated.
Yep.
Everyone. And most terrifyingly, the water from every tap in town, fed by the reservoir, literally runs purple when tested. Residents have been drinking it for months. It's in all their systems, from the local sheriff to Angel Spivey to every child. This realization itself costs an observer 01D4 sanity, simply from the unnatural horror of it all, the ubiquitous, inescapable, invisible invasion that has been poisoning an entire community.
But the horror doesn't stop with the townspeople. It becomes deeply, personally terrifying for the investigators themselves. Because if everyone in Groversville is contaminated, what about the agents who have been there for days, eating, drinking, living?
That's the insidious twist. Since the agents have been in Groversville for several days, eating meals, drinking liquids prepared with this contaminated water, they too have absorbed the protomatter into their systems. This realization that the very substance they are investigating has become a part of them is a profound personal horror. A violation so intimate it rewrites the very definition of their physical being and their mission. It costs them 11d6 sanity from helplessness. How do you fight something that has already infiltrated you at a cellular level, turning your own body into a potential battlefield?
Do they quarantine?
Well, if they choose to quarantine the town, federal and state governments, including the CDC and National Guard, would intervene, but not without likely conflict with the protomatter compromised aldermen and, of course, increased media attention, which Majestic wants to avoid.
And for one agent, the MIGOs have an even more intimate, terrifying plan in store. A physical, irreversible transformation.
At some point, one agent is silently abducted by the MIGO. This is done with extreme stealth while asleep, using knockout gas on companions or when alone. They are gone for a few hours, then return without any memory of the lost time. A blank space where terror should be. The player of that agent would be completely unaware until later revelations.
And during the abduction.
During this abduction, the MIGO perform a bizarre, extensive surgery. They replace the agent's digestive organs, liver, and kidneys with more efficient protomatter-based organs. It's a biological upgrade, an alien improvement.
This sounds like a complete biological redesign of a human being. What are the immediate and long-term consequences of such an invasive, involuntary improvement?
The consequences are profoundly unsettling. A permanent alteration of their very humanity. The agent will no longer create solid waste products. They may still urinate, but they never defecates again.
Never.
Never. They require very little food to survive, their new organs being far more efficient, yet their appetite remains unchanged. This leads to rapid weight gain if they continue to eat normally, as excess sugars are stored as fat. They are also constantly thirsty, their body needing to flush out unknown byproducts, and their urine presents in unusual and disturbing colorations. It's a secret horror, an internal alien process.
And the ultimate nightmarish revelation, the moment this hidden personal invasion becomes undeniable.
The true horror of this transformation is fully exposed if the agent uses the protomatter detection compound in private, or if another agent uses it on them. It would reveal an impossible network of extensive purple scars across the abdomen, hidden by protomatter, just like Billy Ray Spivey's.
Just like Spivey.
Exactly. This discovery that their own body has been fundamentally altered and violated in such an alien way costs the agent a significant 11d6 sanity from the unnatural, from the realization that their body is no longer truly their own. And even their companions suffer a go-one sanity loss from witnessing such a profound, involuntary, and grotesque change in a friend. It's a violation that leaves no physical or psychological escape.
It's one thing to uncover a town-wide conspiracy, a sweeping, faceless threat. But it's an entirely different kind of horror when that contamination, that alteration becomes personal. Becoming a part of your own body, your own existence, irrevocably changing who you are. The battlefield is no longer external, it is within.
This personal transformation is a profound example of the MIGO's utter disregard for individual sentience and bodily autonomy. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it challenges the very definition of what it means to be human, to have bodily integrity, to simply be. The MIGO view humanity not as individuals, but as biological material, malleable and interchangeable for their inscrutable scientific pursuits. We are, to them, merely components in an experiment.
Okay. With the truth uncovered, the personal stakes incredibly high, and the threat literally integrated into their bodies, the time for passive investigation ends. Confrontation becomes inevitable. It's a fight not just for survival, but for the very soul of Groversville, and perhaps for their own humanity.
Indeed. The first step towards a direct confrontation would involve watching the skies. Extended night shifts reveal pulsing, multicolored lights moving in irregular patterns. These, as Adams' notes confirmed, are the MIGO in flight, moving through our reality. Following these lights would eventually lead investigators to their hidden installation, their command center for the Groversville operation.
And where do these lights, these alien flights, lead? What does their hidden base look like?
They emerge from an abandoned farm just past the eastern hills of Groversville. This is the location of the MIGO laboratory. From the outside, it looks like a perfectly normal barn, completely unassuming, another layer of misdirection. The MIGO simply enter through the upper hayloft doors as they can fly.
But inside?
But the interior is a different story altogether. The ground-level walls have been reinforced with a soundproof, light-proof, bulletproof epoxy, sealing off any entry except through the hayloft, creating an impregnable fortress within a mundane shell. Inside, it's a large open area, about 20 by 10 meters, filled with strange, alien instruments. These aren't human tools. They're weirdly fungal biological apparati. Pulsing bellows, incomprehensible glowing devices, a nightmare vision of alien science.
A true alien laboratory, a glimpse into the heart of their monstrous experiments. What kind of horrors are they actively engaged in?
Absolutely. There are 5 tubes filled with transparent liquid, one of which chillingly holds the dead body of a young boy, exhumed after a recent car accident, now a subject for alien vivisection or experimentation.
Oh, no.
Several operating tables are present, equipped with strange instruments, and holograms shimmer in the air, displaying constantly changing views of human and livestock dissections and alterations. Typically, 3 to 6 mygo are present, operating openly if they don't expect visitors, their true forms exposed, or clustering as inert fungal matter while controlling their gray biological automatons, the manufactured face of the invasion.
The source also mentions a particularly unsettling experiment that agents might witness, an attempt to defy death itself.
Yes, if observed for more than 10 minutes, agents might witness a mygo taking protomatter from a large vat, while another removes the dead boy's body from a tube. They would then attempt an operation to replace the boy's damaged cells with protomatter, effectively trying to bring him back to life. This experiment, however, fails, causing 11d6 sanity loss from the helplessness of watching such a macabre alien attempt at resurrection. A horrifying glimpse into their disregard for life and death as we understand it.
So if the agents are effective, if they manage to strike a decisive blow against this operation, the Muggo would eventually decide to pull out. But they wouldn't just vanish quietly, would they?
Correct. If the agents' actions are effective enough to compromise their operations, to make Groversville no longer a viable secret laboratory, the Muggo decide to abandon it. But they don't leave quietly, nor without a final devastating act of spite and self-preservation. As a final act of horrifying retaliation and to thoroughly cover their tracks, they prepare the barn for a massive explosion, obliterating all evidence.
And there's an even more insidious contingency plan. A biological weapon that could wipe out the entire town.
As a devastating parting gift, one actually suggested by NRO Delta agents earlier in the experiment as a contingency.
Our guys suggested it.
Yes. The MyGo order all protomatter in town to mutate into a deadly virus. This virus causes flu symptoms, severe sinus congestion, fluid in the lungs, uncontrollable vomiting, and ultimately heart failure, leading to death within 8 hours of the order being given.
8 hours.
It's extremely contagious, a silent killer spreading like wildfire, but also designed to die out completely after 48 hours to prevent widespread contamination beyond Groversville. Crucially, if the agents themselves are infected, and they almost certainly are by this point, they too will die. It's a calculated, brutal purge.
Is there any way to stop this horrific biological attack, this self-destruct mechanism for the entire town?
Yes, there is a way. A desperate race against time. The virus can be defeated. Destroying the MyGo lab and all its equipment, severing the central node of their control, stops the virus immediately. All protomatter in the area instantly dissolves harmlessly within minutes, rendering the virus inert and preventing further deaths. It's a stark choice. Confront the source, destroy the lab, or let the town succumb to this alien plague.
And after the MyGo confrontation, whether they are destroyed or flee, our own government's Wetworks team makes an appearance, not as allies, but as another layer of hostile, dangerous control.
After the MyGo are confronted and flee, a black helicopter lands. 5 heavily armed commandos emerge, led by a man named Adolf Lepus.
Adolf Lepus. Yep.
Lepus is described as a thin, cruel-looking man, about 48, black hair flecked with gray eyes, 3 gold teeth that flash in his cadaverous grin. He has a narrow jaw, pointed chin and nose, high cheekbones, sallow, tight skin. Described in the source as a sadistic, psychopathic individual with a thick Alabama drawl who relishes tense situations, he is the chief of Majestic's Wetworks team, a man who embodies the cold, brutal efficiency of the conspiracy.
And he's not there to help, is he? He's there to clean up. And that means eliminating any witnesses? So be it.
Far from it. They immediately train laser sights of their submachine guns on the agents, ordering them to lay down their weapons. The source material makes it clear these men are itching to pull the trigger out of pure malice, enjoying the psychological torture. If the barn is still standing, biohazard-suited technicians recover any alien technology before thermite grenades destroy the barn, leaving no trace, no proof.
Erase everything.
Everything. Lepus and his men refuse to answer any questions. They hint at being government agents, but never reveal Majestic, maintaining a threatening, lethal stance. If agents attack, NRO Delta fights to the death in what is described as a short and very, very bloody combat, a testament to their fanaticism and ruthlessness.
This isn't just a battle for survival against an alien threat, is it? It's a race against an invisible, systemic poison with layers of deception and violent suppression by our own government.
Exactly. The MIGO's contingency plan, the protomatter virus, is a chilling testament to their calculated indifference to human life, turning an entire town into a disposable asset. And our government's willingness to enable this and then ruthlessly cover it up, it speaks volumes about the true nature of power when confronted with the unknown.
Even if our agents manage to achieve some semblance of victory against these alien invaders and their government collaborators, the shadow of Groversville is long. The consequences are dire and deeply unsettling. There is no true win here, only a tragic, often personal cost.
Absolutely. Assuming some form of victory where the MIGO equipment is destroyed, the protomatter loses efficacy within minutes. While this immediately halts the virus, it causes substantial and probably fatal problems for all altered individuals and animals.
Like Jane Allen's child.
Yes. Jane Allen's protomatter child, or fetus, dies at this time, a tragic byproduct of the larger conflict, a life created and then extinguished by alien science.
And the personal cost for any agents who were affected, who had protomatter integrated into their own bodies. What happens when that alien material suddenly goes inert?
When the protomatter goes inert, all MIGO incisions on altered individuals, including the agents themselves, horrifically open up, causing significant 11d6 sanity loss for witnesses from the violence and immense physical trauma for the afflicted. An infected agent would pass out from shock and would die unless stabilized within 2 minutes by a successful first aid or surgery roll plus 20%.
2 minutes. That's not long.
Not long at all. Then they would have a crucial hour to reach a trauma center in Murfreesboro, about 45 minutes away, or a CDC field hospital if a quarantine is in place. Even then, surviving surgery requires a challenging constitution roll at minus 20%, a fight for their very life.
But the ordeal doesn't end with mere physical survival, does it? The psychological and long-term implications are just as devastating.
Far from it. Survival comes at a high price, costing a further 11d8 sanity from the sheer helplessness of the experience, the trauma of their body turning against them, and another constitution roll to avoid permanent injury, a life forever changed. And here's the insidious twist, another layer of government, or rather Delta Green control. If Delta Green learns of an afflicted agent's survival, that agent mysteriously vanishes for a couple of weeks.
Vanishes? Where do they go?
They return with no memory of what happened, a forced amnesia, but with a permanent loss of 2 points of constitution, a silent, chilling, and undeniable reminder of their ordeal, a living trophy of the MIGO's violation and Delta Green's ruthless pragmatism.
So even for the survivors, there's no true escape, only a different kind of imprisonment, a physical and mental scarring that will last a lifetime. And what about the official story for Groversville, once the dust settles? How do you bury a truth like this?
Agent Derringer, ever the Delta Green friendly who asks few questions and offers no guesses, he closes the files. He makes them appear as normal as possible once all protomatter samples become inert, considering the matter finished, until inevitably it happens again somewhere else. Billy Ray Spivey's official fate is a lie. He tried to escape and had to be killed. The truth, as is often the case in this world, is buried under layers of official lies and public ridicule.
And Majestic, the government agency collaborating with the MIGO. Does this incident change their operations or their understanding of their alien allies?
Majestic continues its operations, learning and adapting. If at Awfulepus's NRO Delta team killed non-gray MIGO the true fungal entities, Majestic becomes more suspicious of the Gray's true nature and intent, maybe realizing they are merely puppets. Potentially, Lepus could even keep the existence of the strange true MIGO a secret from most of Majestic, using that information to further his own sadistic agenda, consolidating his power within the shadows. The conspiracy continues, ever evolving, feeding on itself.
And as a final provocative thought to consider, in this unsettling landscape of alien invasion and government complicity, we have accompanying source material for something called Promise Tennessee.
Yes, Promise, Tennessee. It's described as a planned community built and owned by the people of Promise, Inc. Its advertisements are, well, alluring. No taxes, no upkeep, no renovation costs. Promise handles it all.
Sounds good.
Too good. Maybe. The slogan boldly asks, why own a house when you can own the town? It offers this stark, perhaps equally unsettling contrast to Groversville. A different kind of corporate or systemic control, a seemingly benevolent form of societal management that, in its complete control, might be just as insidious as the Migos' direct invasion, just without the purple scars.
So what does this all mean? We've explored a narrative where individual lives are mere playthings for alien science and government secrecy, where even victory comes with a devastating, often personal price. The truth in this world is a constantly shifting, deeply painful thing, hidden not just by aliens, but by the very institutions meant to protect us. It forces us to question everything. We've journeyed through the horrifying reality of alien experimentation in Groversville, witnessed the chilling effectiveness of government disinformation, and explored the profound, often irreversible costs of uncovering such truths. If our reality can be so easily manipulated, our bodies so casually altered, and our perception of truth so meticulously manufactured, how do we ever truly know it's real, or if we are truly free? Consider the alluring promise of a place like Promise, Tennessee in such a world, and what freedom might really mean when every aspect of your existence is managed by unseen hands, whether they're alien or corporate. Thank you for joining us on this unsettling journey through Groversville. This has been the Uncanny Valley Podcast.